how you feel inside. You African, I know you're scared inside. You African, but I know your future's bright. You African, but let the truth say. No matter what I say or do, them I've been thinking that you're holy. You run the world and you know where.
Welcome everyone to Let's Talk Africa with Miss Paida. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited for my guest today. As you know, we're in May, and May we celebrated my first birthday on YouTube. We celebrated Africa Day, and the most important one is Mental Health Awareness Month. So today I am joined by the gorgeous Mrs. Sue Mahachi. I will let her introduce herself. Hello, Mrs. Mahachi.
Hi, Paida. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Susan, as Paida has already said. I'm a counselor by profession. I currently work as a school counselor. I'm a positive person who loves to empower and to encourage other people. I have 2 adorable sons, and I'm married to a gorgeous man.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited because she is an amazing counselor, so she's going to definitely talk with us about mental health awareness, especially as Africans. It's a discussion that is important to be had. So, Mrs. Mahachi, have you always wanted to be a counselor growing up?
No, definitely not. Because growing up, I never had anything to do with counseling.
Uh-huh.
We only knew teachers and nurses because that's what I only was used to seeing. My mother wanted to be a nurse. Mm-hmm. My aunt wanted to be a nurse. The first person in my dad's family to go to university went and did a Bachelor of Arts General, and they became a teacher. And all my grandparents were teachers, so that's what I wanted to be, a teacher. And eventually I wanted to be a lawyer, but I think it was for the wrong reasons, because I just thought that lawyers were to put men who were abusive in jail. So that was the reason why I wanted to be a lawyer.
You wanted justice?
Yes, justice, and to help women.
So when did like the course change for you to end up being a counselor?
So when I went to university, I did a Bachelor of Arts General, and I ended up teaching English in different schools. So when I was in Botswana, I realized that instead of enjoying the marking, I enjoyed spending time with kids at break time and at lunchtime.
Okay.
And most of the kids would come to me with their problems, like from home, and would talk about it. But still at that time, I didn't know much about counseling. I actually didn't know that it existed. I just thought that there was HIV counseling, and I didn't know there was mental health counseling and all. So I then returned back to Zimbabwe to join my husband, because I was working in Botswana and he was in Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. And then I needed a fresh start. I needed something to do. Then I heard about counseling, systemic therapy in Zimbabwe. Okay. I did a 1-year course and I loved it. And wow. That's how I changed the course of my life.
Okay. That's so good. So it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still follow your dreams no matter how old you are.
The age has got nothing to do with qualifications. It has got nothing to do with education. Mm-hmm. You can start at any point in time in your life.
You hear that, kids? How important is mental health, especially as Africans? Because you know, it's not something that we talk about a lot. We had recently, when AKA's girlfriend passed away, people were saying a lot like, why would she kill herself? She was dating a very rich guy. She was coming from a rich family. What kind of problems did she have? People don't expect Africans to have, like, especially the generation Z, or like, you know, to have problems. Like, what problems do you have? So how important is mental health as Africans?
Mental health is important for everyone, but speaking as an African, I think we really need to learn a lot about it. Not that we didn't know about it. I think it has always existed, but it was easier to maintain or to manage because we had family around us. But now with the diaspora thing coming in and losing the extended family, you find that we hardly have anybody else to talk to. Probably away from parents, you're away from grandparents, there are no more aunties and uncles that you can talk to. So it was there, but it was probably dealt with in a family setup.
Okay.
So now that things have changed, I think we also need to change our mindset. We need to have that shift to understand that, you know, my grandparents are not there to talk to, my uncle is not there, I can still talk to a professional and get the same help that I could have gotten, you know, from somebody who loves me at home. Because the thing about mental health is you cannot point anyone on the street that they have mental health, or it can be even a very close friend you're sitting with. They might have it, but they might be hiding it under a smile or things like that. So it is a change of mind shift that we just need in the African context to understand that we can still talk to somebody we are not related to and get help to manage, you know, our feelings and thoughts.
That's true, because I would say there's such a big misconception when it comes to therapy. Like, I know some people that I've talked to, and you can actually see that they just need. I mean, I was one of those people a few months ago, if I'm being honest, like where I was thinking a lot, and I just had to book a session with Mrs. Susan, which you can do, and just one session speaking to her, and I actually realized, look, I'm stressing over things that are actually not that serious, because the mind has a way of like tricking you that you think, oh my gosh, this. So let's talk about therapy. Like, again, as Africans, I suggested therapy to someone recently, and they were like, no, my problems are not that deep. But you can see that they are going through a tough time. How can you convince someone to say, look, you just go like for one session and just like talk it out with someone?
Okay, so therapy has got nothing to do with judgment. Usually we are scared of being judged, and it's something probably that we grew up with, because we never really used to open out to strangers. So when somebody goes for therapy, one thing they need to understand is that everything that is said in therapy is confidential. So whatever your counselor or psychologist talks to you about, it should be confidential. And it's only when you say maybe you're going to harm yourself, you're going to harm someone, that the counselor will actually tell you that, you know, because of what you've said, I now need to involve somebody else so that we can give you support. But therapy usually helps. The way therapy works is just for you to understand how you feel, to understand how you're thinking, because mental health, like a headache, is an illness. But the only difficult thing about mental health is that, you know, the illness is in your head, it's in the mind. So you can't really see it. But talking to somebody helps you, you know, understand that, actually, this is what is going on in my mind. This is how I'm thinking. And mostly it's just negative thoughts that come into your mind, and then there's rumination. You keep on thinking about bad things that happen. And mostly it's also about, you know, just the fear of the unknown sometimes, just not knowing what's going to happen. So and then they become thinking traps. Then you're trapped in the thoughts like, you know, life should be like this, life should be like that. And with mental health, especially if you have to deal with depression or anxiety, you find that people will be just worried about things that haven't happened. They worry about the future. They worry about things that are out of their control. So when you talk to somebody, they are able to say, you know what, you're actually worrying about something that is out of your control. Why don't you focus on things that are within your control? And the moment you start doing that, you know, it really helps. And the moment you start, you know, changing the way you look at things, you also see that actually what maybe you probably thought was a problem is actually not a problem.
That is so true. What about like in terms of like, can you say, how can you help out a loved one, or if you notice that someone is going through depression or they're having suicidal thoughts? How do you point, like you said, I can be going through depression, but you can't see it because I'm always a happy person, and maybe I'm hiding it through being happy. But then if you see, let's say if I start posting about killing myself or causing harm, how can I help a loved one who's in that situation?
So the most important thing is to never take anything for granted. If somebody tells you that, you know, I don't feel like living, then explore on that statement. If somebody says, you know, I want to kill myself, also explore, and make sure that you provide an environment that is comfortable for them to talk to you, and also make sure that they are free enough to express themselves, because what we normally don't do, especially as Africans, and I'm speaking because I'm also African, is that we don't express ourselves enough. We are afraid of what people may say. We are afraid of what people may think about us. But when you're taking care of your mental health, you have to think about, you know, you first, that what do I need for myself? What can I do to make myself healthy, my mental health healthy? the same way you would nurse, an injured leg, that's the same way you should nurse your mind. So if you realize that your friend is going through that, or somebody you really care for is going through that, sit down with them and say, I can see that it seems you're not well, you're struggling in this area. You haven't been coming out with us. What's going on? Don't just think that, or somebody's not coming out because they don't want to, or if you realize that, or somebody is posting, like nowadays with social media, people can post things that you can just pick and realize there's something wrong. Make a phone call and say, are you okay? Oh, I've just seen something that you posted on Instagram and I thought I should check on you. And they may even say, oh, I'm okay. And usually people will say, I am fine. When you hear those 3 words, I am fine, then you need to go and check on them, because normally they are not fine.
Normally they are not
fine.
I'm fine.
Yes, we all hide in I'm fine.
Yeah.
So mostly when somebody says I'm fine, I always check on them that I didn't think you were fine. What's going on?
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll try and hide, but if you're really caring, drive to go and see that person, get on a bike, ride your bicycle, whatever it is, walk, and just say, I had to come and check on you. And you may be surprised, maybe they'll be struggling with deep anxiety and they're just lying down on the couch. You'll find maybe the house, dirty because they're not motivated to do anything. All those are signs of depression. So you have to learn to watch out for the signs of depression, and they manifest in different ways. Okay. So learn to identify the signs of depression, especially because they manifest in different ways. For some people, they're very active during the day, but when they go home, they're in their own shell, they cry out the whole night, and then tomorrow morning you see them at work, they are all, happy vibes. And for some people, it will be the exact opposite. They've got lack of motivation, they're not doing anything, they can even say it in everything they do. There's this sense of worthlessness or hopelessness. So it's all about you trying to understand the person that you care for and observing those changes, because they will be there, because it's like when somebody gets sick, they can start coughing and then you realize they're not well. So always be observant, be an observer. Don't just say it's a phase, they are gonna be okay. And that's one thing that we normally do, like, oh, I've been there. Yes, you might have been there, but our experiences are different. And we should never say to somebody, oh, it's just a phase, because you're struggling financially, oh, it will be over when you get money and stuff. Always make sure that that person gets help. If you can't help them through talking, make sure you look for a professional to do it for you.
Like Mrs. Mahachi. Growing up in Zimbabwe, I first found out about school counselors when I moved to UAE. And working with kids now, you can see, wow, there's panic attacks, there's anxiety, something that I never knew in Zimbabwe. Probably kids would have panic attacks and anxiety, but they will probably be beaten or be put in detention. How important is having school counselors in schools, especially in our African setting?
Oh, if I were to be, the Minister of Education in Zimbabwe, the first thing I would do is to make sure that every school has got a school counselor and a special needs education coordinator. Because when I reflect growing up, there were so many people who were in my class who either had some form of mental health illness, especially anxiety, like you're saying, because you'd find that there were kids who were coming from, families where domestic violence was very common, and they would have seen all those things. They come into class, they are really scared. They get a male teacher. If he raises his voice, you'd see this little girl hiding in the corner, and the teacher shouts at them because they think, oh, they're not, participating and all. But all those were signs of anxiety. And now I totally understand it because I'm in the profession. But I think for everyone who went to school in Zimbabwe or in any African setup, you remember somebody who struggled with anxiety or depression in primary school or in secondary school. And also what made it difficult was, I remember in secondary school we had somebody called a senior lady, but I never went to see that lady. And I don't remember people going to see the lady because they had a mental health illness, but they went there because they were in trouble for behavior or you needed to be punished. So it was never about our well-being mostly, it was about behavior. So it's something that probably in Africa we still need to really advocate for, children's well-being and adolescent well-being as well, because those are the people who really struggle most. because at least with children, they might be able to tell the teacher, you know, that, oh, this happened in the house. But with adolescents, they tend to keep things inside. And imagine growing up like that, you become an adult who is not okay, who is not, you know, who doesn't have positive mental health, then definitely you sink into depression or anxiety. So we do need school counselors in every school in Zimbabwe. It doesn't matter whether it's in the deep rural areas or it's a private school, they are needed, because all children go through different challenges as they develop.
I was reading on Facebook one day, and someone was pointing out things that you need to look out for when you're dating someone for marriage. They were saying one of the most important things is to know and understand your partner's childhood traumas, because it manifests as an adult. I remember I dated someone before, I didn't understand how they did it. Like, why are you behaving like this? It's so obvious. But then when you look at how they grew up, you realize, oh, maybe for them they never got a hug, and you were trying to hug this person. For them it's like, no, stay away from me. And then you get offended, and then the relationship can even stop because of those childhood traumas.
Yes. And the truth is, you know, you can never run away from your childhood. All you need to do is to address maybe things that were painful experiences that we were exposed to, and work on yourself to get better, because healing does not happen immediately. For some people, they heal of things that happened when they were 5. So never underestimate the power of our childhood. And it's always good to know somebody when you get into a relationship. Do not hide who you are, you know, always tell your partner the truth, that, okay, you know, I grew up in an abusive family, so that they will understand that, oh, when I lift my hand and this person, you know, dodges it, it means they're scared that I might hit them or something. So there will be certain things like that. And some people overcompensate as well. You might find that you're in a relationship with somebody who constantly buys you stuff, and you'll be wondering why they do that. It's because maybe they don't want to be that like their dad, who never bought their mom anything. So it's a lot of things. They can come up in negative or even something that looks a bit positive, but all we need to do is to understand where we came from. So we can't really run away from our history, but, you know, we can change our stories to make them better, but we can't run away from who we really are or where we really came from.
Thank you so much. This is so enlightening. So how can people get in touch with you as a counselor, and what products do you offer? I know you don't only offer counseling. What else, like what other products do you offer?
Okay, so if you want to reach me, I am on Instagram, Positivity with Sue. I am on Facebook, Sue Mahachi, and you can also buy my books on Amazon. I've got journals on Amazon, and I am so passionate about journals because they help you, you know, reflect on your thoughts and your feelings, and they also help you think about what you need to control in your own life and what you need not to control. It teaches you to let go. And when I create my journals, the main message is that to remind people that life doesn't have to be, you know, beautiful, like in a perfect way. Life doesn't have to be perfect for it to be beautiful. All you need to do is to make those imperfections beautiful, because we all have flaws. So the moment that we start accepting that we've got flaws, then we struggle less maybe with issues of anxiety and depression, because you begin to understand how. Those are some of the things that I do. And I also do counseling. I also do couples therapy. I enjoy doing support groups also. So you can reach me through my Instagram. It's much easier, I guess, for people to do that nowadays.
Yes. All the links to her Instagram, to her work email, personal email, and her Amazon link will all be on in the description link. And you can follow her through and see she's got amazing journals.
Yes.
Amazing journals and lots of products. Thank you so much for being part of Let's Talk Africa with Miss Spider. Do you have anything else to add in closing?
Thank you so much for doing this, Spider, and I love the African perspective of it, because normally we don't really look into it. And especially nowadays where we have all, you know, moved away from home, it's always about where we are. But you know, we will always have the African blood in us,
Yes.
and we will always have the African kind of thinking. Take me to Dubai, but
Yes.
you find that half the time I think as if I'm still in my
Yes,
room there
oh
where I
my
grew up.
goodness. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
I really appreciate this program, and I really appreciate the fact that you looked into mental health, because it's a neglected area, not only in Africa, but in most parts of the world. We are all still trying to learn how to, you know, work and help each other accept and remove the stigma.
Yeah, because you know, people will be like, this white people disease, it's white people disease. But I know you were saying before, like it's something that's always been there. Growing up, we'd go and talk to our grandmothers or the elders in the family, and then they would help you out. But being in the diaspora, like where you are alone, first of all, you need to have people that you trust. Because also out here, people are out for themselves, so you don't know who's got a good mission with you, and do they want to backstab you, so you don't know who to trust. So it's very important to have people like Mrs. Mahachi in your life.
Yeah, and like you said, remember when we were growing up, there were people called mapenzi.
Yes.
Those are mental illnesses,
Yes,
you know.
yes,
but
yes,
most of them, could you imagine if they had medication, that would have changed their lives. But we didn't know, and most of them were on the streets, you know, picking rubbish and all, just because they didn't have any support, mental health support. So I work in a school at the moment, and I love children. I've come up with 21-day journal for kids, and it's for ages 5 to 8 and 9 to 12. So all it does is to instill positive values in kids. So I've created happiness journals for kids aged 5 to 8 and 9 to 12. And all they do is instill positive values in children so that they can learn to be empathetic, to be kind, and how to be happy and how to take care of themselves. Because self-care is essential if you are to have a positive mental health.
That's true.
Even to you adults, you need to have you need to take care of yourselves. I have journals for women. I've got prayer journals. These are good because even as we live day by day, no matter what we do, we always have to turn back to some kind of faith. It doesn't matter which faith you believe in, but I've learned that a lot of people, even in counseling sessions, they say they do turn to prayer. Whenever they are having a good or tough time, they turn back to prayer. So always have that something that holds you back, that spiritual, that kind of faith that holds you on when you are struggling. And then I have affirmations notebooks. In my affirmation notebooks, you'll find that they are journal prompts, and you have prompts like I dream big, I run with my dreams, I'm a history maker. All they do is just to remind you of who you are, you know, that you are not a product of you know, anger or a product of resentment, because some people would just start thinking that, oh, because I came from a household where everybody was angry, then I'm a product of anger. No, you can rewrite your story and become whoever you want to become. Okay, so I also do quiet time journals, and these ones are for you to just go and sit and do nothing. And when I mean sit and do nothing, I mean get into a place where you just sit and listen to what ever comes to your mind. Visualize things, write them down, and then see them come to manifest in your life. Hold on to those good things. So always make sure that you have your quiet time. Start with even 5 minutes a day, where you just go and sit and do nothing. Go into 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Some people will even have an hour of quiet time where they just write their goals, listen to whatever is coming up into their minds at that time, and they follow their dreams. Okay, and I just have other little notebooks like with messages like breathe or relax, where when you're writing you can just, you know, remind yourself that I need to take a breath. Because sometimes all we need to do is just breathe.
That's true.
And not say or not go to anyone. Just breathe.
So I need to stop taking a moment and eating chocolate, because better write than eat chocolate.
Yeah. And I've got journals for moms. This is called My Awesome Princess. And this one is Dear Son. So why I created these journals is because I'm a mom too. I've got 2 kids, and I've realized that with technology and all, sometimes I don't get to spend time with them. But all I can do sometimes is to just journal the things that will have happened during the day. If I see my kid doing something amazing, like if they get a principal's award at school, I come in and journal about it. I write about it. If I have a quarrel with my 16-year-old son, I also journal about it and try to explain to him why I behaved in a certain way or why I responded in a certain way. So what I've started doing is that at the end of each month, I put each one's journal on their bed, and then they go through the journal and see what we've gone through the month, and then I take them. I write positive affirmations in there for them. I also write prayers for them. I also give, because nice verses, nice quotes, anything that I see, whether it's from the Buddha or anyone that I feel might motivate my children, I just write it in their journal.
And how do they take that?
It's amazing. It's really strengthened our relationship, especially with my teenage son, and they look forward to the 28th when they get their journals, because they want to see, what is it that I have done that has made her happy, where do I need to change. I also write in there what I feel I would have done wrong and apologize, So it's a very good way of connecting with your children. Yeah.
We're taking notes for our future kids. I like what you said about apologizing, because we know African parents do not apologize. It's like, you should be grateful that I gave birth to you. You should be grateful that there's no apology. They never at all. So in closing, there are things that our parents have done to us. Like, it's good that you have a journal where you're writing and talking to your kids like that. But there's things that our parents have done to us, or have done, like for example, maybe I feel like my dad or my mom should have done this. Maybe my life could have been better like this. How do you let go of that and not hold them accountable? Because some of these things are holding us back from moving forward.
Yeah. And I think we've all gone through that as African kids. I mean, there were so many things growing up also that I felt my dad shouldn't have done this, or my mom shouldn't have done this. And my mom had me when she was very young. She was 16. And growing up, I always felt like, I'm the one who made her not, accomplish her dreams. So imagine growing up feeling that way, and I had to struggle to let go that feeling that, but it wasn't my fault. I mean, it's a choice that she made, being my dad's girlfriend. But one thing that you can do is to learn to understand that you cannot control what other people think. You cannot control how other people behave. You cannot control other people's choices, but you can control how you react to that and the choices that you make for yourself. So letting go is one of the biggest things that you can choose to do. And you are not forced to forgive, but you should choose to forgive. Because if you don't forgive, it's like you're always dragging a bag full of potatoes with you, 10 kilos of potatoes with you every day. And unless you drop it off, then, you always be feeling heavy. So yeah, it's hard, but you have to do it. And I know probably, if we are to be honest, almost everyone has got something that they struggled with in terms of their parents.
Yes, even they also struggle as well with their parents. So thank you so much again for joining us. Go to Amazon and get these books, because they will help you. I'm even going to get myself some and for my nieces as well, because I like this. I just opened this. I love what's written in here. It's so pretty.
And being a teacher, I know you know the good things for kids.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll see you on the next episode of Let's Talk Africa with Miss Spider. Bye.
Bye.
Let them shoot the same. No matter what I say or do.